the big thing is that we become better people and understanding that life itself is a sport per se or a game per se. And we got to find our confidence and we got to overcome things because life is up and down. And in a game, you're going to have hard moments and you're going to have moments where it seems too easy. So learning to adapt in the game and learning to strategize, which is what she was talking about, strategizing against the other team, understanding the game to really be able to define the spots of where everybody's standing or where can we score the point at. That's awesome to hear and to know that we're at that level and their understanding is there and that we're growing as people, because ultimately, volleyball might stop eventually. Hopefully they go to college and they get to do this and it's paved off, but they have these memories and they have life lessons. That's the big thing. So it's very, I've really enjoyed watching these children grow into the people that they are, and know that they are good people at the end of the day, whether we win another volleyball game or not.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Randy White here at Unwired Appalachia podcast. Two very special guests, Misty Riddle, Miley Riddle, Shelby Valley head coach and star player. Means volleyball season's on the horizon. Came out to the panorama the other day. It looked like you all were playing well. Miley was out with an injury. It seemed like your girls were playing hard anyway. Just kind of talk about the upcoming season and how your girls are doing overall right now.
Honestly, we're excited for the upcoming season. Now 2 weeks ago, we were even more excited, but Miley did come down on somebody's ankle in practice. But luckily, she's going to be up and at 'em here before too much longer. Hopefully, in a day or two, we had a little ankle injury, but those happen, especially with any athlete. And the rest of the girls have really put in the work to be able to overcome that as a team. We went to Bluegrass games. They had to play without her there. She was there supporting them, obviously, as a team because we're all like family. We've been around these girls for a very long time and we spend a whole lot of time together. So, they know that they can get the job done too. It's always nice when you have everybody. But when you ain't, then you have other people that rise to make sure that we stay on the winning track. And now that doesn't mean we never lose. We obviously lost some this past weekend, or the weekend before at the Bluegrass games. But with every one of those losses or maybe downslopes is also an opportunity to learn. And that's what we talked about after the games, every game we've played so far. What can we do better? Where can somebody switch? What do you all have to offer? How do you see it? I'm the coach, but that doesn't mean I know everything. That means I might be the leader and I can implement things, but they're the players. And we got to figure that combination out on the floor together because that's the big thing. Where's the chemistry at? Skills, that's something you work on individually a lot of times. Miley's been to camps and things individually because she wants to be her best self. And they all want to be their best self. So we do clinics and we do different things. But when it comes together on the floor and you get to see them working as hard as they work and get to help each other shine because it takes a team for one person to be able to do anything, then it's very heartwarming, to see the kids that they are, the good kids they are, and the success that they bring to the table with their hard work.
Yeah, and Molly, you're going last year, no seniors on the team. You had to step up. There was other girls stepped up as well, but you're one of the leaders this year, and it takes a whole team. There, you got other seniors with you, but know that you set the tone and out there. Seeing the girls playing hard right now before in the preseason when you get there, what does that do for you? I mean, that's got to bring your confidence level up as well to see them stepping up and doing their part. Even if maybe you're not there a player or two, just kind of talk about what you see in the rest of your teammates right now.
Absolutely. I always say this, I would be nothing without my team, and my team can perform without me, whether I'm out there with them or whether I'm cheering them on from the bench. And I think that they have all come together and like rose to the occasion for just the short 2 weeks that we've had. But I think they've played very well, and definitely a bunch of people have stepped up and realized that they're capable of more than what they thought that they was, and like being leaders on the floor. Because with me out, still having Micaiah and Riley and the other seniors on the floor, some other people still had to step up and be leaders and say, hey, like, she's not in this game, but we still got this. Like, we need to pick it up. And then they're really good about that, like picking each other up whenever they're down. And I think that they did an awesome job.
Yeah, one more thing about that with these other girls playing without Miley before we get into the season. We'll talk about last season as well, some too. But to me, what stood out, I thought, was maybe last year at this time of the year when I saw y'all play in that preseason. Maybe not all the girls had a lot of confidence. This year, it looks like every girl on the team had confidence in what they're doing. Talk about as a coach what that means to you to see the girls developing over the years and believing in what they do, because I think that's a big thing, and I think that's very commendable. But that you can actually see growth like that. In the
Yeah.
team.
And that's a big thing that I try to work on. Like, we're a team and we talk about our gaps as a team, but I have a lot of individual conversations with people. Like, what is your role? Where do you see yourself? What do you want to work on? Because whatever you're doing individually is going to contribute to the team. And when you're confident in your role, then the entire team just gets lifted from it. So, you've got Sanaya Linton who, and Lindsey Baldwin, their big things that they feel the most confidence about is blocking, and now to see their hits develop as much as it has, and they're girls, they're sloping up and down, but, to see the growth that we've had over the summer, over even at the end of last year, and then the work that they put in on the off season, huge. Audrey McPeak really has stepped up. She was a young person on the team last year. She's going to do big things this season too. Riley, Micaiah, Miley, Sophie Reed, those are our seniors. They also want to see the team be successful after they leave. So we're looking at all the things and how to put the team together so that, it's a legacy of a team. It's not just the team this year. It's not the team from last year even. It's what we're building at Shelby Valley High School, which is a solid volleyball program. So each one of those girls, Taylor with her set, she's running the floor a whole lot too, but it's because they're working together and they're looking at, when you get to this level of volleyball, it comes more technical. It's what shot's going to work. It's not always just the, set. Here, now we've got strategy to it and how everybody, we all got to know what our strengths are and we got to bring those together. And you got defensive specialists like Aaron and Savannah that, they're good in certain spots on the floor and they have that confidence. And as it grows that we develop that we're good in all spots, no matter where we're at. That's something that's been a focus for us. So to start the season the way we have, I feel pretty good about it. Now we got growth to make.
Absolutely.
We're going to continue to grow, and there's things that we already see just from this past weekend. When you start maybe a 12-3 and then you're falling back down, it's like an up and down thing. Then obviously we have confidence. We're girls. We drop a little, but we got to pick it back up and we got to understand how to maintain it there, and that we're not going to be perfect. We're going to mess up, but we're going to continue to work.
Yeah.
So.
And finally, just kind of talk about, after you all ended the season the way you did last year at state, great run, and we'll go more into that here as we go. But you didn't stop there. You went back, and I'm sure you played a lot of travel. You played some, whatever you could. Just talk about the work you've put in since the end of last season, because I'd say you've played a lot of games since that last game you wore for Shelby Valley at the end of last year.
Since the end of last season, I can speak for myself and I can speak for my team. We haven't stopped working. Like, we knew that we ended it on a successful season, but we knew it's not where we should stop. Like, we are always determined to work harder and be better for the next year. And throughout the off season, I know I was playing travel ball, and like a bunch of our other teammates were playing travel ball, like Micaiah, Riley, Sanaya, and the girls who even weren't playing travel ball. We were always in the gym. We were working out. We were playing, just like getting in the gym for a few hours, just playing around, just so we can always keep a touch on the ball and continue to grow. And throughout this summer, I can definitely say that we've all worked very hard and like came together. I feel like this past like summer ball was like probably the best summer ball that we've had. I just feel like even without girls, because like there were some people that went on vacation, whatever, like even our younger girls picked up their slack like when they wasn't there. And I just feel like we all just came together and we just played really well this summer. And I just know that we've all worked super duper hard.
Yeah, and that's awesome. I think you know coming off of last season when the region, it's a little bit different for you guys this time around, because now everybody wants to beat you all, because now you're the defending champs. Everybody wants to be the champ. Misty, just kind of talk about that mindset, because it's a different position for you. I'm sure
Yes.
you like it, but
It
it
is.
is a different position now.
I think it's a different type of pressure.
Yeah.
And before we were hungry because we wanted to do something that had never been done, and maybe some people didn't believe we could do it. That was a big thing. And honestly, at different times, we didn't know if we could do it. We had up and down, seasons. Sometimes we peak too early and we like get there and then we're tired. But at the end of last season, we really picked it up and brought it to the table. Heck of a game. That last game for the region was, gosh, I watch it all the time actually still because it's just an awesome moment to relive. But to maintain that now, people, and I tell them this all the time, I'm like, girls, you ain't got time to rest. People are coming for you, because, they, it was something that had never been done. Obviously, you got teams like Johnson Central and Paintsville and Pikeville, different ones that have maintained successful years of
Yes.
volleyball. Shelby Valley has always been, right there, but never to this level of success. So it was a big deal for our school and for our community, and obviously for this group of girls to be able to have been a part of that. But it's also now a lot of pressure to maintain it because people know what we have because we were already together last year. Now, we've had one or two that moved away or something like that, but the core of the team, we are still there. So it's what else can we do to raise the bar a little higher, to compete a little stronger. Like Miley said, she competed in a travel volleyball through Ashland, and then we did some AAU volleyball, so we got to travel a couple places with our team. There was other girls that went through BVA, different things like that, to work individually. And then camps and clinics this summer, we had some that was working with trainers, and then Miley went to a couple different places, Glenville, UVA-wise, different people, but, putting in the extra work. But then that summer ball in June, now that was a good moment to get back together and kind of see back around here, because when you're traveling,
Yes.
and it's a different type of game. When you travel and you see people you don't know, it's almost, sometimes we say, and not that we don't love people around here, but sometimes it's more enjoyable because the element of mental pressure that, when the spotlight's here and you know who you're competing against, because some of these girls we've competed against entire lives, like we've played against some of the same coaches. You've played against some of the same girls her entire life. So we already know each other, so there's that element of pressure. We already know kind of what we're playing against. And so it's when you go away and you get to play different types of people and not really know what that team has to offer. And you've got to say, this is the strategy we have. And then look at what they have. It's a different game. It's really volleyball then. And you come back here and you get to see more of the same teams. So it was cool to come back in June and see where we were against these teams in the fall and where we are now. So that's exciting. And of course the season's exciting too. And people will continue to grow. One of the things me and my assistant coaches were talking about from this past weekend when we hosted the little weekend of Panorama games, to see the excitement every team is bringing. I mean, parents were screaming and cheering for their kids like it was already tournament time.
Yes.
And we're like, that's cool. Volleyball is growing in our area.
Yes.
And, some might say a little fast and tearing apart maybe basketball or different sports, but like volleyball is exciting.
Yes.
And it is growing. In our school, it's growing. In the community, it's growing. So that is fun to watch and to be a part of and know where we are, know the work we've put in, and know where we want to be in the end,
Yeah.
and hopefully we get there. But we also know other teams are still working.
Yes, they
They're
are.
working,
And I think, the way that you all ended the season, not only winning the region, winning the game of state, going to the quarterfinals, I'm sure you would have won every game.
Yeah.
But I thought, you got better every game. First game, second game, third. What does that do for the team, seeing that the team that goes on to win a state championship, if you play another game or two, maybe you pull off one, because it seemed like the more you played, the more comfortable you got against those girls. Just talk about what you took from that game, because that's a state champion, and that's probably one of the better teams in the nation, I would imagine.
Yeah. Yes. Definitely playing assumption. I think going into it, we was all very excited, but then when we got up there and like actually seen the competition, watched them warm up and stuff, I think we got a little bit of jitters. But then as the game went on, we got more comfortable and realized like, hey, like they're good, but so are we. Like we need to get our heads right. We need to get in the game. And I think like getting more confidence throughout each set to actually get comfortable in playing. And I do think if we would have played another set, it would have been even closer because I just think we realized like they're going different places, like they're going line, they're going cross. And then when we started to read that, we was starting to get better and better and like understanding where their players are at versus where we need to put the ball based on where their players are at. And just having ball placement and being smart. And I do think, like, I think everybody just had a little bit of a jitter. Like, we was all just nervous. Our whole school was there. That I think that made me personally nervous because I was like, well, I don't want to let down my school. Like, my whole school traveled down here to watch us play. My family's down here watching us play. Like, I didn't want to let people down, you know. And I don't think we let anybody down because I think we succeeded no matter what. Like, if we won that game or we lost, which I think everybody was proud that we were even down there in the first place.
Absolutely. I don't think anybody, there was nothing to hold your head about during that one. Misty, just hearing that they started to believe in each other.
Mm-hmm.
How does that make you feel? Because I think wins and losses are great, right? But when you hear stuff like that, that's probably even better than a win or a loss.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, every sport, I think the big thing is that we become better people and understanding that life itself is a sport per se or a game per se. And we got to find our confidence and we got to overcome things because life is up and down. And in a game, you're going to have hard moments and you're going to have moments where it seems too easy. So learning to adapt in the game and learning to strategize, which is what she was talking about, strategizing against the other team, understanding the game to really be able to define the spots of where everybody's standing or where can we score the point at. That's awesome to hear and to know that we're at that level and their understanding is there and that we're growing as people, because ultimately, volleyball might stop eventually. Hopefully they go to college and they get to do this and it's paved off, but they have these memories and they have life lessons. That's the big thing. So it's very, I've really enjoyed watching these children grow into the people that they are, and know that they are good people at the end of the day, whether we win another volleyball game or not. Now, that's not saying I don't want to win because we all know I do, but, but we're together forever. We have these things that we've done. We hope that we apply those things and have that connection, and that when it comes game time, we're ready to play.
yeah, and you just mentioned college. Is that a goal of yours? I'm sure that's probably if you want to go next level and play, I'm sure you have opportunities. I'm not trying to put any pressure on you or say where you're going to go. But I mean, is that what you want to do ultimately after this season? I mean, I'm not saying to look past this season or anything, but I'm sure that's a goal of yours because you are one of the top players, not only just in the region, but in the state. And I would imagine there's a lot of schools looking at you and wanting to see if you want to play for them. Is that a goal that you want to play?
It is. It's always been my goal, actually. Since I was young, I always said, like, Mom, I want to play college volleyball. And I think that both my parents and other coaches have, like, made that happen for me and realized how bad that I truly want to go play in college and stuff and, like, have pushed me and, like, not let me give up on my goals and stuff. Even throughout this, like, little ankle injury, I've just been, like, kind of just discouraged in myself because I was just, like, I thought, like, I was invincible. Like, I'd never been hurt before. And then just realizing, like, one morning I get up and my ankle's so swollen that I literally hardly walk. And then she's like, Miley, like you've got to keep going. Like you can't give up on yourself. Like you've trained so hard, you've worked so hard for this. Like you're right there. Like you've got to keep going. And college definitely is like in my future, like going to play college volleyball. I love volleyball so much. I couldn't imagine like just not waking up one day and just not realizing like I don't have practice or don't have a game this weekend. Like I truly love the sport itself.
Yeah, and hearing that, maybe she's not the only one who has a college future.
Mm-hmm.
What does that say for you? You talked about the growth of the game, and I think all this stuff ties together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you see one girl maybe go to college, the other,
Yeah.
it trickles down. Just talk about how big that is. If
Yeah.
once you got your girls maybe send one or two to college, then you talk about the program legacy. That's where you build legacy,
Yeah.
I believe, right?
Yeah, we talk about that a lot. Like, where do we want to go in life? And can this be a tool to get us there? It's one thing to have a drive to win and to play the game and to be with each other. It is another thing to use the thing you love to get you to a place that can make you a lifelong, learner, or just like, what is my life going to be like? So this, it may be far-fetched for some people, but I truly believe that our girls can play at the next level, whether it be at UPAC or, Moorhead or, wherever we're going, Alice Lloyd, the local places, maybe we go bigger than that. I don't know. It doesn't matter because the education behind that is what matters. And if we can, we talk a lot of times in education about learning to love being there, and then we learn to love learning a little easier. So volleyball brings people to school. Other sports do too. Other things like music or, whatever it is. Kids enjoy going to school because of those things, and they can use those talents to get into college and to help fund it and to enjoy being there, which then helps the society all together because we got to get an education to be productive citizens. And I've said that a million times. Being in the school system for a while, you probably hear a little bit of that jargon coming out, not just coach side, but I think that our girls, seeing Miley go through some of this, and other girls have talked to college coaches too. There's goals for the next probably 3 or 4 years of girls that have talked about, where can I play at next? All this hard work I've put in. Miley's been playing really since first grade. Putting in a lot of extra time with camps and clinics throughout the summer. Like she said, she truly loves it. And sometimes it takes the grit to continue to go because it's also very easy to lay on the couch and watch some TV, and that's the typical teenager. Phone in our face, chips, cookies, TV. That's our generation of children. But it takes a little extra effort, a little extra grit to get up and keep going. And that's what she was talking about with her ankle. It's easy to lay down and feel sorry for yourself. But if you want it bad enough, you find a way.
Yes.
And same thing in the game. If you want it bad enough, you find a way. Win the game,
Yeah, absolutely. And Miley, I guess the last couple of years you've been, I think maybe last year you might have led the state in kills. I'm not sure. I know you were right there. I can't remember if you finished first. I believe you did.
Yes.
Okay. And then the year before you were top 3, top 5.
Yes.
Just talk about your goals because that's hard to keep staying that consistent. Is that another goal, or do you just want to do the best that you can do each play? Do you set out to be in the top kills, or is it just to go out and play every play like it's your last and just see what happens?
I definitely do have goals. Obviously, becoming first in the state, like stats wise, like that's awesome. But however, I just want to be the best version of myself. No matter if I'm first in the state or not, like I can still be a good player, not lead the state. Like I just want to be the best version of myself and play the best that I can play. And like throughout every game, like realizing my mistakes and correcting them the next game. And I don't know. Stats is important, but at the end of the day, you can be a good player and not have the best stats.
Yeah, and I'll stick with Molly on that because that was a really good question answer. It brings up another question. I always say that when I watch it seems like you could do a little bit of everything on the floor. You're not just a hitter. You're not just you can set, you can go to the back row. Just kind of talk about having that versatility as a player and knowing that if I don't have to come off the court, I can do whatever my team needs wherever I'm at. Talk about how important that is to you because, in this sport, sometimes you have to be a specialist, but you don't have to be a specialist.
Yeah. Versatility is actually one of the main things I think that I'm going to be able to go to college for because college coaches looking at me, they're like, hey, she can hit from the outside. She can also hit from the right side. She can play defense and she can also set. So at the end of the day, like if they have a spot open for defense, I can fill that spot. They have a spot open for setting, I can fill that spot. They have a spot open for outside, I can fill that spot. So just being versatile in every area is a wonderful skill to have. And you're always going to need all those skills. Like, even our middles, sometimes they have to play defense. They have to set. They have to be able to block. Our setters have to play defense. So you really need to be versatile in every area of volleyball because there's never not going to be a time you're going to not have to play defense or not going to have to block or not unless you're like libero. But still libero, they still have to be able to set and play defense and serve. And it's really all about ball control, and being versatile is one of the best things you can do.
Awesome. Yeah, that was a great answer. Misty, just kind of talk about, you mentioned it earlier that the sport's growing. The region is getting better and better. When I first started doing this, there was probably each year 3 or 4 teams that would have a shot to win a region. It seems like nowadays, any given moment, something happens. Any team can beat anybody. Games getting closer and closer throughout. Just talk about the growth of the sport and what that says about the girls here and just the game overall, because you mentioned it was growing. It really is. When you go into these gyms, you're seeing, places are packed, and sometimes it reminds you of like a district basketball
Yeah.
tournament or
Yeah.
something like that. Just kind of talk
Yeah.
about seeing the sport grow and how cool that is.
Yeah. So, okay. I tell the girls this story. She probably knows what story I'm going to tell. When Shelby Valley High School first started volleyball, I happened to be there. I don't want to tell anybody how old I was or that I'm old as a dinosaur. But anyway, back then you had to be serving to get a point. You basically rotated around. There was no true specialist in our area. I'm sure there was, maybe somewhere else. I don't know. But high schools were just starting to get the sport. So talk about that to now. Volleyball speed of the game is like so much faster. You can be serving or not serving and get a point. It's whoever, gets the kill or the ball drops on the other side. And sometimes that means a pass goes to a strategic spot on the floor and you score a point. So, I mean, it is crazy to watch volleyball games and the way that it has excelled in our area, especially. And I would say that that's the factors that contribute to that are many. We've got some travel volleyball stuff. We've got the hype that media people are bringing to the sport too. And then we have the success of the area and the girls that are really being able to put in the work and shine. I think that inspires our young people. And then we have coaches who are putting in time. So there's so many things really that come to it. And then the community support, it's like all hopping everything up together to grow the sport and opportunities, the excitement and opportunities, giving kids opportunities to be successful in something that maybe they thought they had no chance to. And middle school programs starting younger, I know when I was at Millard, I started literally in the first grade, and obviously that looks a little different for a first grader than it does a middle schooler or a high schooler. But it's building confidence first, giving them the excitement and energy behind the sport itself, just like you would have done with cheerleading or basketball from Little League, and creating those type of opportunities for young people. And then all the energy around it. Now it's something cool to play. We had all of these NBA games and like the big football games and all those things. And now we're publicizing college volleyball. And we're playing, we got teams. We actually have met people who play for UK that are now playing legit volleyball across, to another country. So that's cool. Those opportunities are now a thing, like whereas before it wasn't. So I think just seeing it all grow and getting to be a little piece of that is a really cool experience, and it's something so many girls could experience. And now boys too. So I expect in the near future some boys volleyball teams to be really taking place. I know Pikeville has one. I think Jenkins has one. Shelby Valley has talked about it. I'm sure some of the other high schools in Pike County, I fully expect that to be a thing. The boys, I think there's a little nervousness because boys basketball is like, you're going to take my players, and football too, because everything overlaps.
Yes, and it's during
But,
baseball season as well. So
forget about that sport too. Yeah. So it's a lot, but I expect it to grow. I really do.
Yeah, the last couple of things, and I'll let y'all go. Just Miley, just kind of talk about your experience since your mom started coaching. That's a different dynamic. That's got to be really cool to share these moments with her. Like I'm sure sometimes you all probably get frustrated, whether you're doing something right or wrong or whatever. But at the end of the day, I'm sure it's a cool experience to have your mom right there coaching you and cheering you on. How cool of an experience is that for you?
It is a cool experience. It can also be a tough experience because a little tough love. But I genuinely think that I would not be half the player that I am today without her and my dad pushing me the best to be the best that I can be. And I think that it's a perfect duo that way. She's always pushing me in practice, and I don't know, whenever I go to college, I might be a little sad, looking over and her not being there and telling me, hey, Molly, you need to get your head straight. You need to focus. You need to put the ball here. Here's open. And obviously there's going to be other coaches that can do that, but it's not going to be my mom,
Yeah. And Misty, just kind of talk about, not just that experience. That's a special experience for you, I'm sure. But to be there rooting her on, but also to help the program where you played at it grow too. That's got to be special. That's got to be probably double special for you,
Yeah.
right?
It's been an interesting experience for sure. I was waiting to see what her answer was going to be to see, because it can be challenging at times too. Sometimes people say, "Well, playing for your mom, that's gotta be easy. You must," but it's hard. No, because I am who I am probably, and Michael is who he is, and we are people who want to push her to be her best. So that's not easy. It was probably easier when she was little because she was excited about everything. And as she's grown and went to things, then obviously she's a wealth of knowledge as well. So we can feed off of each other in that. I really never thought I would be a high school coach. I have always been middle school, elementary minded educationally. So getting to be around little kids or even middle school kids, that's where, I felt comfortable. And when the opportunity came to go to Shelby Valley High School, obviously Miley's there, but several girls and families, because I'm from the area, were there. And it just felt right at the time. And obviously, I've had to learn a whole lot, because the game has changed since I played in high school, and even high school from middle school. That's a change. So it's been a cool thing to be a part of, learn and grow along with the girls, and then to look back and say, hey, I played here, and the uniforms we used to wear is so funny looking. Um, everything's come full circle. And actually, one of my assistant coaches I played in high school with, so Tab Hall, and then, Taylor Fields, she played there. So, it's really just us getting to be a part of something we never thought would even happen for Shelby Valley High School. And here we have this group of girls who's willing to put in the work, who, goes every day with all the grit and all the, the gritty stuff. They're tired. So, and then this week has been a long week because school. And then coming to practice, that's a lot on an athlete, but they have goals, and to get to facilitate anything to do with that is very rewarding. And I couldn't be more proud of being a part of the program, be more proud of Miley and the rest of the girls and the community itself. Honestly, it's just been, when everything comes to a close, I will not have one regret about it. And I don't think everybody can say that about stuff that they do. So it's been great.
Awesome.
Mhm.
I guess we'll end it on this. Miley, you're a senior, defending region champion.
Mhm.
What do you want to get out of your senior year? Is it to try your best to repeat, or just go out and play every game as hard as you can and see where things go at the end of the year? I think, senior leadership's big. I mean, how's your take on that, I guess? Is it just taking it how it goes and hoping by the end of the season you all are right there in the mix with everybody else to do the make a run at state again? Or is it just to, I guess, what's your take on that, being a senior, I guess?
I definitely want to go out there and be the best version of myself and play the best that I can. And I know that my teammates want the exact same thing for themselves. We definitely all want to come together and continue to win and stuff. I'm not saying like undefeated season, because I know we have some hard games on our schedule. And I think having hard games is only going to make us better. It's going to make us play faster, having better competition. Not better competition. Not saying anybody around here is bad, but just saying like seeing different people, because, playing the same people, you know what they're going to do all the time. So, like, you get adjusted to them. So playing different people like broadens your horizon of gameplay and stuff. But I definitely can say that we're competing for everything. We're not taking it easy on nobody. So
Awesome. Anything else
Yeah.
you want to add?
We know that this season's going to be a challenge. There's teams out there in our region that are working hard. I would never take anything away from another child and say we are outworking everybody. I do think other teams are working, and I think they're coming in with the goal of taking the titles. We've been back to back all A. Obviously, that's going to be hard to do a three-peat. It's just, it's hard to do that.
Yes.
We know that there's other seniors out there that want that have that goal. So we are going to the table. Obviously, I never go into a game saying I'm going to lose that game. We're every one of us is programmed somewhat like this.
Yeah.
We go into games knowing we're hungry enough to win. We don't go in satisfied. But that doesn't mean we won't lose. That just means we're going to give it what we got. And then we're going to go back and give it again. Like
Absolutely.
that's what we do. So the goal obviously would be an amazing season to have the same type of success that we had last year. We know that there's other teams out there that could also attain that.
Absolutely.
So we will fight, we will train, we will work hard, and we hope in the end we're there. And we hope in the end that we get to have the awesome opportunity to make it back down to some state somewhere, or some state game. But at the end of the day, the hard work and the success that we've already brought, we're already proud of. And we know that that doesn't define us necessarily as human beings, because we've already done the work. We are already there. We've had successes, but we want to win.
Absolutely.
And what team does it, right?
Everybody wants to win. Like,
We wanna
that's
win.
not to say anything
Uh-huh.
country, but every
Yeah.
team wants to win every game they play.
But we respect
don't,
all those teams out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if they don't, they
Uh-huh.
shouldn't be playing right.
I mean, I always say,
Play for fun.
yeah, we are not the people that play for fun. Well, I want it to be fun.
We do play for fun, but we don't play for fun to just go out there and lollygag. We play for fun because losing is not fun. So we play to win.
Yeah. And I tell our team, I like a big team. So like when we have tryouts, I say, my gift to you is to be on the team. Like I'll take as many as possible. But the goal for the team is to win. And to win, you have to have the people out there that can jive together to bring success. So, I want everybody to be a part of that. And I want us all working toward one goal. And that hopefully will be in that championship game. And if it's not, then just know we've put in the effort to get there and something just didn't go our way, because things happen. We didn't suspect the ankle injury, but we're going to overcome the ankle injury, but something else may come our way and we may have to overcome that as well. But we're going to work for it. So ultimately, we'd like to be there.
Great answer. Anything else I might have missed that y'all want to say?
I think we covered it. That we do appreciate the fact that you support us and that you invited us here and that our community supports our team. Like I said, I've got a lot of really great girls. If there's college coaches that ever listen to this, come see me, because I got some girls that want to play for you, I'm sure. And there's some talent on that team. And sometimes you may not see it in one game because everybody shines at different times, or maybe I put them in a situation that they have to really work hard at. Everybody has to play what's best for the team. That doesn't mean that's always their strong point. I've got many girls that could be the lib. I got many girls that could be the middle. I got some girls that could be the outside. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many girls, and that's a blessing. But when you have a team who's that stacked, sometimes you don't get to do and showcase everything that you have, when you could go somewhere else and be like the star of the show, but we are a part of a team and we're a part of a family. So we appreciate all the support that we get, and we are, very grateful for that, and the fact that you all will give us encouraging words, and that the community supports us, and our administration in Pike County and at our school. I mean, I can honestly say Mr. Napier comes to almost like every game we ever have, and he's like the loudest, most obnoxious person in the gym probably. So that's wonderful for us. And we have a great student section. I think you were at the state game that we hosted against Knott County. How cool was that experience? Just the environment itself. I mean, it was amazing.
Even at GRC, you had a huge.
Oh, yeah, we had a whole section. But like in their home gym, getting to host that first game, and like we had parents that had brought like those guns that shot shirts into the crowd. Like, it was really an old school feel, and people who don't even watch volleyball necessarily, all the time, came out to that game just because it was just so cool. So thank you all for that. Thank you for the support and the coverage, and just highlighting each individual girl, because that gives them an opportunity to be seen and get to further their education or their career in volleyball. So thank you.
Awesome. Great answer. Guess for Corey Vance behind the scenes, for Miley Riddle, for Misty Riddle. I'm Randy White. Unwired Appalachia. Check us out on all of our social medias, Facebook, Twitter. What else we do, Corey? It's everything. YouTube, TikTok, whatever. We're on all of them. We'll see you soon.